Bro, you guys remember when Kobe Covington and Usman were beefing in that, that one ESPN interview? Usman was like, I broke your face. And Kobe fired back, you didn't break my face. You broke your own will. And then Usman was like, how? I beat you. And then, he hits him back with Kobe like, look at me. Look at me. I broke your face. And Kobe just sits there like, wait till I see you next time, Marty Fake Newsman. You're dead. You're dead. We got unfinished business. I was rewatching that the other day, and I'm like, bro, why is this making me think about Merab versus Petr Yan too? Look, man, I want to sit here and give you guys some kind of fantasy where Petr Yan kind of pulls it off. I really do. I even made a whole video not that long ago breaking down everything Yan could do to make it interesting. But let's be real for a second. Stylistically, this is a nightmare matchup for him. When you go back to the first fight, Merab had arguably the most dominant performance of his entire career. The dude was literally spamming takedowns. Yan had no answer for that pace, that pressure, that non-stop wrestling. It just overwhelmed him. Now, I'm not saying the rematch is going to be a carbon copy. I'm not going to sit here and say that Merab's going to 50-45 him again. Even though he probably still can. Maybe the first round, maybe the second round, maybe Yan makes it interesting, who knows. I'm trying to be realistic, but honestly, even when I try to give Yan the benefit of the doubt, I still doubt it. That's just the truth, man. Look, both fighters have improved, no doubt about it. But the way people talk about their improvements is kind of funny. With Merab, everyone acts like he came out of the hyperbolic time chamber. And honestly, I kind of get it. The dude went in from just being a good cardio machine to a guy who can strike, a guy who can submit and out-hustle literally anyone. He almost TKO'd Corey Sandhagen. He outstruck Umar and Sean O'Malley in certain exchanges. He choked guys out like Sean O'Malley. It's like every time Merab shows up, he adds another weapon. He really did level up, and he's an entire whole different beast now. But with Petr Yan, the narrative is completely the opposite. A lot of people look at him and say, he's the same guy. And to be fair, that's fair to a degree. He hasn't really reinvented himself the way that Merab has. But he has made adjustments, especially when you rewatch some of his recent fights. People forget Yan is naturally a calculated fighter. He's not explosive, not wild. So the improvements are subtle, but they are there if you pay attention. When you look at Song versus Yan, you could literally see Yan reacting like he has PTSD from Merab's matchup, because that was the fight right before, right? Every time Song feinted a shot, Yan was jumping like he was like a scared cat or something. And I get it. That's what fighting Merab does to you. But the thing people miss is that Yan actually defended every single wrestling attempt from Song. And yeah, Song isn't Merab, but that's still a good sign that Yan has been drilling the defensive reactions. Now, does Yan overcover with his high guard sometimes? Absolutely. That's been one of his biggest bad habits for a long time. When he gets overwhelmed, he shows up too much and trusts his durability. But the thing I really like about him lately is how he started using the uppercuts more. It's one of his best weapons. I'm pretty sure he dropped Figueiredo with it, and he's been throwing it way more often instead of just sitting with that high guard and hoping to survive the flurries, So yeah, Yan hasn't magically transformed into a new fighter. He's made adjustments though. Not a full evolution, but there are adjustments specifically geared towards dealing with someone like Merab. Better reactions to level changes, smart shot selections, more urgency on counters, and less passive defense. That's something. It's not nothing, okay? And honestly, for his style, that might be the best he can change without ruining what made him good in the first place. But let me be real here, okay? I'm not living in peaches and creamsville. I'm not glazing. I'm not trying to sell you fantasy. Yan has improved, but so has Merab. And Merab's improvements are just louder and more obvious, more impactful. I'm being realistic. There's a reason everyone is leaning Merab again, okay? Even if Yan did level up, Merab leveled up in a way that directly hurts Yan stylistically. That's just the truth. And that's why this matchup is still a mountain for Petr Yan to climb. And let me keep it real with y'all, man, because this is where people get confused about Petr Yan. Everybody keeps saying, bro, Yan has good footwork though. Like, yeah, he does, but there's a level to what kind of footwork we're talking about. The footwork Yan uses is built for pressure fighting, mid-range control, pocket adjustments, little stand switches, and small little angles inside combinations. It's not the type of footwork that saves you when some psychopath like Merab is shooting at your hips every 10 seconds like the controller is stuck. Yan's footwork is amazing against traditional strikers, guys who actually stand in front of him, trade combos, give him a rhythm to read, gives him a pattern to break down. That's where he shines. That's where he walks you down and chips your guard like he's inviting you into the pocket, then catches you slipping with a hook or a slip cross. But against Merab, bro, Merab said pocket and just ran straight right through him like he was late for work. There is no pocket with Merab. It's not clean boxing environment. It's pretty much chaos. It's clinch, it's level change, it's scramble, it's level change to maybe an overhand to an uppercut, because we can't forget that Merab now has hands. And it becomes all these different threats. It basically becomes a mosh pit with wrestling shoes on. And this is where the styles clash in the worst way possible for Yan, because if your best work happens when you're planted, balanced, and reading reactions in tight spaces, Merab is literally the last dude you want to see in front of you. He doesn't give you time to plant your feet. He doesn't give you clean looks. He doesn't give you steady exchanges. The moment you try to settle into pocket, Merab is already halfway around your hips, already grabbing a leg, already pulling you off balance. You can't fight a pocket war when this guy isn't letting the pocket exist. And the footwork thing is huge because, yeah, Yan moves well, but he doesn't move big. He doesn't create space with wide circles. He doesn't bounce, out to long range. He doesn't reset on angles like a Corey Sandhagen. That's why Corey did way more better against Merab than Petr Yan did. Because he circled, he framed, he pivot, he switched stance. He never let Merab try to line him up. He was always trying to move. He was always trying to do something. And that's the point I'm trying to get through you guys. Yan doesn't do that. Yan stands his ground. Yan wants you to fight in front of him. That's his comfort zone. But against Merab, standing your ground is basically a huge grenade. The dude is too explosive, he's too relentless, too chaotic. He forces you to move defensively whether you want to or not. And Yan historically moves defensively only when he's overwhelmed. He shells up, he takes a step back, maybe he pivots a little bit, but it's not enough against someone who wrestles. Yes, I know he has the uppercuts. I brought that up earlier. But Merab has fucking hands, bro. He has those Canelo hands. We saw what he did to Sean O'Malley, to Corey Sandhagen. It would not surprise me in the slightest if Merab lands huge bombs on Petr Yan. Because Yan's best stuff is the clean boxing, the tight counters, the I'm going to sit there and read your stuff. All of it's required. The other guy slows down and engages him in the same language. Merab doesn't speak that language. He's not going to give you the conversation you want. He's barging into your room, screaming in Georgian and tackling your legs, outboxing you, clinching you, trying to submit you. And the craziest part, Yan's striking defense has actually improved. He lowers the high guard a bit. He starts using uppercuts more. He starts reacting faster to level changes. He looks bigger now. He's swole. He looks fucking huge. He looks stronger. He looks like he's getting ready for war, but none of that matters if you can't keep the fight in the range where your improvements actually count. Being better in the pocket does nothing if the pocket is underwater, okay? And the other guy is in his scuba gear. That's the entire issue. Yan's style is honest, technical, sharp, disciplined, but Merab's style is dishonest, chaotic, scramble, ugly. He makes you fight his fight by removing the part of your style that relies on structure and rhythm. Yan needs a structure. Merab destroys that structure. Yan needs a rhythm. Merab hijacks that rhythm. Yan needs the pocket. Merab turns that pocket into a wrestling scramble. You see what I'm trying to get across, man? And that's why this matchup is so damn hard for him. Even if he improves, even if he looks bigger, even if his defense has leveled up, it's not about how good Yan is. It's about how little of his game Merab actually allows him to use. And look, man, it just sucks. I like Yan. I really do. And he looks huge right now. Like I mentioned, he's swole. You can tell that he's putting everything into this camp. I'm assuming he's going to handle things a little bit better this time around, since he's already felt Merab's style once. Experience matters at the end of the day. Being in there with that kind of pressure once before definitely is going to help. But let's keep it a buck. These are two completely different fighters now. And almost all of that difference comes from Merab, okay? Like I said earlier, Merab went from Super Saiyan over the last 2 years. He leveled up in every area, and that's what makes it so tough. Even if Yan fixes everything, better cardio, better reaction, better entries, better takedown defense, sharp counters. Even if he does all of that, it's not going to be enough because Merab's pace isn't fair. It's not human. You can't train for that. You can't prepare, but you can't replicate it. And that's what scares me for Yan. He can stuff takedowns. He can tag Merab clean a few times, here and there, have good moments, and probably still get drowned just because of the output and the pressure. And look, I'm not trying to disrespect Yan. You know, he has an amazing skill set, but he's just such a slow starter too, man. I can't see Yan winning this, and I love Yan. He's one of my favorite bantamweight fighters. He's a beast. You know, this little streak he went on, but stylistically, he does not have the style to beat Merab. I'm sorry, he just doesn't. And man, it sucks because Yan has all these damn tools. Like, the guy is straight up a badass. He could do everything, but the problem is he just doesn't really finish people anymore. Like, when was the last time you saw him put somebody out? I think it was Jose Aldo, right? And I'm not saying he has pillow fist. He absolutely beat the hell out of him. But against Merab, bro, you really need some power because Merab is just going to keep coming. He's like the Energizer Bunny on crack. He does not stop. And yeah, Yan has improved. I've talked about it a bunch in this video. He's tightened up a lot of things that hurt him in the first fight, but it's still too much. Merab's pace, his pressure, his chain wrestling, his striking, it's going to overwhelm him. And honestly, it's depressing when you look at it from Yan's side. And dude, Merab might just seriously run off with 4 title defenses this year. He's going to beat Yan. The only guy I can realistically see beating him is Umar in a rematch. But even then, who knows? We might be stuck with Merab as champ until he's like 46, 18 to 24 title defenses. This dude does not even feel human at this point. But hey, that's just my take. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like always, dude, I'll see you guys on my next one.